All right, let's just get right into it. If you've ever been deep in the research trenches, you already know that gathering your data, that's only half the battle. The real headache usually hits when you're staring down those incredibly strict, honestly kind of terrifying academic citation rules. Well, in this explainer, we're tackling a very specific, very messy beast: citing surveys. We're going to build a simple decision tree together to clear this all up. We're going from total confusion to absolute confidence, right here, right now.
So how exactly do you cite a survey? Look, if just hearing that question makes your heart rate spike a bit, trust me, you are not alone. Unlike, a standard textbook with a clear author and title stamped right on the spine, surveys exist in this weird gray area. They might be some dynamic data set sitting on a random server somewhere, or maybe just unpublished raw numbers from a quick campus poll, or even those massive institutional reports from places like Pew Research. It's literally one of those formatting hurdles that just stops you dead in your tracks, usually when you're exhausted at 2 a.m. and just want to hit submit on your final project.
But here's the thing. It really doesn't have to be that complicated. It basically all boils down to one golden rule. The treatment of a survey depends on its source. Okay, lock that into your brain right now. You don't need to memorize 100 different formatting quirks. You don't have to spend hours digging through a massive citation manual. You simply have to trace that survey back to where it was born. Citations are really just a roadmap back to the origin of the data. And once you grasp that, it builds this perfect, super logical mental framework for everything we're about to cover.
Okay, so the very first fork in our decision tree comes down to ownership. We're looking at two completely different scenarios here. First, let's say you designed and ran the questions yourself. Maybe you did a quick poll of students for a sociology paper. In that case, you actually don't list it as an external reference in your bibliography at all. Nope. It lives right there in your methodology section, and you'll probably just stick the blank questionnaire in your appendix. But on the flip side, what if you're using another researcher's instrument, like a complex psych evaluation someone else built and validated years ago? Well, that's their intellectual property. You're borrowing it, so it absolutely must be formally cited to its published source.
So the key here is just figuring out which branch of the tree you're actually sitting on. Let's make it super easy and break it down into 3 buckets. Bucket 1, a published survey report. You treat this one just like a standard journal article or a data set. It's formal, it's out there in the public, so it gets a standard citation. Bucket 2, your own questionnaire. And like we just talked about, this one goes in your methodology and appendix. No bibliography entry needed. And finally, bucket 3, another researcher's instrument. This one gets a direct citation straight back to its published origin. Honestly, once you drop your data into one of these 3 buckets, the confusion just vanishes. No more guessing. Just categorize it and your path is right there. Now, if you do land in a bucket that requires that formal external citation, you're going to need to gather some specific metadata. Think of this as the exact coordinates for your roadmap. First off, you need the author or organization, the year, and the title of the survey or report. And listen, this part is absolutely crucial. Do not forget the version number. Massive data sets get updated constantly to fix errors or add new responses, and you have to show exactly which version you use so your work can actually be replicated. Throw in the publisher, the dataset identifier, and the DOI or URL, and boom, your citation is pretty much bulletproof.
Of course, rounding up all that metadata is one thing, but actually putting it together with the perfect punctuation, that doesn't have to be a nightmare. There's a fantastic automated tool, the Harvard Reference Generator, which you can find over at harvardreferencegenerator.co.uk. Think of it as your absolute secret weapon. You literally just plug in the details of your published surveys, and it spits out a perfectly formatted Harvard reference. Honestly, it's a total lifesaver for finalizing your bibliography, especially when you're racing the clock and you definitely do not want to lose easy points over like a misplaced comma or a weird italicization error.
But hey, before you confidently smash that submit button, we've got one final, absolutely critical check. Your research ethics and your appendix requirements, those must always follow your specific institution's guidelines. This is the ultimate trump card, guys. We just mapped out a universal decision tree for the formatting side of things, but the ethical compliance and the exact layout of your appendix are entirely controlled by your university's specific red tape. I mean, it doesn't matter if your bibliography is a work of art. If you fail that internal ethics check, your paper could be rejected outright. Seriously, never skip this step.
And that brings us to the final, and honestly, maybe the most important question you need to ask yourself today. Does your survey citation actually pass your institution's ethics check? Formatting is just about following the rules, right? But proper sourcing and ethical compliance, that's about the entire integrity of your project. So I challenge you, take this decision tree, look at the exact data you're working with right now, and ask yourself if you've truly given credit where it's due. Nailing this is exactly what takes your work from amateur to highly professional. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and good luck with the research.